Good evening, guys. Please let me know if I'm audible or not. Right, online guys, please let me know if I'm audible. Even a reply is enough. Yeah. If I'm audible, then we'll start the discussion. All right. Yeah. So welcome to the geography PYQ analysis, where I'll be discussing all of the important topics or important questions that are present in the 10 years. Mainly, I'll be discussing from 2021 to 2025. But as it is 10 years that we've planned, I'm taking all of the aspects that have not been told in all of the 2021 to 2025, and I'll be discussing those as well. So some aspects from the last 5 years and all the aspects from 2021 to 2025. So before starting this particular session, I would also like to tell you what this session would be like. It is not like a rapid revision session, right? Many people expect a rapid revision. This is not a rapid revision. This is a PYQ analysis. Because the reason we are making this PYQ analysis is because we want you guys to go into the exam hall knowing what kind of questions you are going to get. Right? I can easily pick some random questions which have elimination techniques and show you guys and misguide you them. Right? I can misguide you in a very easy way. Okay, but I don't want to misguide you guys. I want you guys to go confidently into the exam while knowing what is actually happening there and what is going on into the paper. Okay, what kind of questions UPSC might ask, and the only way to understand what kind of questions UPSC is asking and how you can actually tackle them is by knowing what they are, and you can only see them in the PYQs. So in this particular session, I'll be doing one, showing where knowledge is required. Right, we need to solve the questions through knowledge. Many people think that it is only the elimination techniques that we need, but it is not only elimination techniques, but it is also the knowledge that we need. Second is the common sense. Right? While you already have the knowledge, based on that knowledge, you build the common sense. And lastly, we have the elimination techniques. Obviously, there are some questions where you can absolutely not have knowledge at all. You need some kind of elimination technique, right? And whenever you use these kind of elimination techniques, that's when you'll understand more on how to solve these. Do not primarily depend on elimination techniques, rather use your knowledge, then your common sense, and lastly use the elimination techniques. So these are the three main bases, right? I'll also show where elimination techniques fail. Right? Elimination techniques do not have a 100% hit ratio. Many people think that elimination techniques have a 100% hit ratio, but no, they do not have a 100% hit ratio. They have high amount of failure. That is why many people tell you that do not primarily depend on the elimination issues. Right? Also try to depend on the knowledge, and based on the knowledge, build a common sense, and based on that common sense, use elimination techniques. So without any further ado, let us start with this particular session. Right? Here we have all the questions that I've categorized all the questions based on multiple subtopics and themes. Right? For example, let's say here we have economic geography. The first question says that, not use this. The first question says that the total fertility rate in an economy is defined as, and it has given a few statements. Here we can actually use the elimination techniques, right? Firstly, the number of children born to a couple, it is very narrow. Whenever you see a question or a statement that is very narrow, know that that is wrong. Okay, always think broader in an aspect. Whenever it is coming to polity or history or geography or economy, whenever any subject is there, think that in a broader manner, not in a narrow aspect. So the first option B says that it is only a couple, so B is wrong. Secondly, here it is written as birth rate minus death rate. Birth rate minus death rate is nothing but growth rate. So this is the definition of a completely other topic. So C is also wrong. We have left with A and D. The number of children born per 1,000 people in the population in a year, and the average number of live births of a woman would have by the end of a childbearing age. If you actually look at the statement, It's called etymology, right? Etymology. What is etymology? Etymology is nothing but the understanding of that particular term, right? It is saying total fertility rate. Fertility is based on women, right? Based on the etymology, answer is D. This is how you decipher. Okay, many people think that it is not, it is understanding the complete term. It's not the complete understanding of the term, it is the understanding of how the UPSC works. Firstly, it says that couple, so we narrowed it down and removed it. This is the complete other definition, so we removed B, C as well. And here, as the etymology says, total fertility rate, and the thing that is closest to total fertility rate is D. So answer is D. Yeah. Next, we have, with reference to capital in Indian economy, right? With reference to physical capital in Indian economy, consider the following. In order to answer these kind of questions, you need to have some knowledge. As I've told you, the elimination techniques do not work standalone. They work along with knowledge or common sense. And for this elimination technique to work, you need knowledge. The knowledge of what a working capital is and what a fixed capital is. Fixed capital is nothing but something that is long-term, right? Something that is long-term, and that can be reused for multiple times. And then you have working capital, which is short-term and is not reused. Now let us look at which is saying multiple times and which is saying only sometimes. Computer, obviously fixed capital, it can be used multiple times. Then you have farmer's plow. Plow is again used multiple times, right? And then yarn. Yarn is a input that is for a shorter period. So obviously that is a working capital. And then you have petrol. Again, that is a working capital. Right? Now let us see here. Fixed capital, true. Working capital, wrong. Then yarn used by capitals, wrong. And lastly, you have working capital, yes. So out of the four, you only have two options, right? Yeah. What you also need to understand is there is this one trick that UPSC always try to show, that whenever there is a four statement question, right? Four statement, it's giving four boxes. The trick that usually works is that only two pairs are right. Usually when UPSC gives a four statement or four box question, it's only two pairs. Why? Because UPSC has more chance of interchanging, right? It has more chances of interchanging. If you actually see here, farmer's plow is fixed capital, whereas yarn used by the weavers is working capital. Yeah. UPSC has clearly interchanged. So whenever you are coming across a four table box, know that it is two pairs. Okay, it will work 99% of the time. 1% obviously it depends on UPSC. Yeah. So each and every elimination technique that I'm trying to say will only work 99% of the time. I'll also show you where the 1% of the time it will not work. Okay, because depending wholly on elimination techniques is very wrong. Okay. So yeah, in this I'll also write all of the elimination techniques that I'm teaching. Right? Elimination techniques. First one is that whenever there's a four box, right? Four boxes like this, then most probably it is two pairs only based on interchanging of options, right? This is the first. Second one is the use of etymology. Etymology is nothing but the use of that particular statement given in the question. For example, let's say, as you've actually come here just now, I discussed this first question. The first question says that the number of children born to a couple, it is a very narrow statement. So whenever the question is, UPSC is asking a narrow statement, what will you do? Eliminate. Always think broad. UPSC will only ask broad questions, it will not ask narrow questions. So narrow questions, eliminate. And then birth rate minus death rate, it is basically asking about growth rate of the population. So it is a complete other definition. So C is also wrong. Micah. Ratleda? Okay, wait. Can you call someone there? Your mic on the see your mic. Wait. I think it's working. It's okay. And the battery is stable. Battery type in. Yeah. Okay. Why don't you guys come in front then? ముందరికి వస్తే అయిపోద్దిగా. అక్కడ కాదు మైక్ అంటారు. ఇక్కడ ఉంది కానీ బ్యాటరీస్ లేదు. బ్యాటరీలో ఇప్పుడు వినిపిస్తుందా? ఓకేనా? షుడ్ ఐ వెయిట్ ఫర్ సమ్ టైమ్? We'll try to wait for some time. By that time, maybe you'll start. Continue, you know? Yeah. Okay. It is saying that it is talking about growth rate, but the term etymology or the technique that I'm talking about, etymology, is usage of this term, total fertility rate. Yeah, here it is talking about total fertility rate. If you actually look at options A and D, which is more close to fertility? If you look at total fertility rate, question is asking about total fertility rate. We removed options B and C. We only have options A and D. So if you take the term fertility, which is more closer to fertility? D, no? So that is the use of etymology. Whenever you are actually in a dilemma, when you have two options left, or whenever you have 3-4 options left, use the term etymology. Yes, you use this kind of term and try to decipher which option it is trying to point at. So if you actually use that etymology, then you can arrive at the right answer. Yeah. So that is the other what do you call elimination technique. Now, as I explained, in this there's high scope of interchanging, right? So the option is only 2. Then you have this. Consider the following countries: Italy, Japan, Nigeria, South Korea, South Africa. Which are the following countries have low birth rate? Now, obviously, we don't know. South Korea, sure. Yeah. But let's say that person has no idea. నాకు తెలియదు సౌత్ కొరియాలో ఏమవుతుందో, నైజీరియాలో ఏమవుతుందో నాకు తెలుస్తుంది. But if you remember history, World War ఎక్కడైంది? World War ఎవరెవరి మధ్యన అయింది? Japan was there. Italy was there. So basically, at that time, in 1940s and 1914s, all the population was very young. 1914s ఇంకా 1940s లో యంగ్ ఉంటే ఇప్పుడు ఎలా ఉంటారు వాళ్ళు? Obviously old, కదా? So if you actually see here, Japan is there, Italy is there. They both were present in World War. So 1-2 lane options is. I didn't even have to know whether Nigeria was there, South Korea was there, South Africa was there. I only had to know whether Italy and Japan were there or not. So, that is all. Okay, inka aspect kavalante, at that time Nigeria and South Africa were colonized countries. Obviously appudu colonized countries lo birth rate ekku unchal anukoralu kada. So what will happen? Obviously akkade undu. So these two also you can eliminate. If you actually eliminate these two, you'll still be left with A and C. Right? This is how you use elimination techniques. Elimination is nothing but usage of common sense and knowledge. Right? And that knowledge and common sense is individual and based on every other person. Ippudu nenaithe Italy and Japan analoginchanu. Some other person might think about Nigeria and South Africa. Right? It is never the same. So if X person is thinking in one way, doesn't mean you have to think it in that way. So at the end of the day, meeku kavasindi enti, you have to arrive at an answer. As long as you arrive at an answer, nothing matters. Okay? So build your common sense and build your knowledge base. Parvali kada. This is too high. This is fine. Yeah. So yeah, before I move on, మీరు ఇందాక రాలేదు కాబట్టి I'm telling you guys that this particular session I'll be telling how to use knowledge and what are the kind of questions that you can actually expect in UPSC, because many people come here expecting that they'll only be talking about elimination techniques. I can easily take in the questions which have elimination techniques and give it to you. But what does that mean? I'll only be misguiding you guys. I have to practically show you guys what kind of questions are UPSC asking. UPSC is asking some questions where there's elimination technique, some questions where there's no elimination technique at all. You have to use your common sense, or there are some questions where UPSC is giving hints. The three kind of questions: 1, absolute knowledge; 2, hints; and 3, no knowledge at all, only elimination techniques. I'll show you all where you can use knowledge, where you can use hints, and where you can use elimination techniques. Okay, so this is where you are using your knowledge, right? Knowledge and then elimination technique. Together you are answering. Answer is A. Here, with reference to the sectors of Indian economy, consider the following pairs. In this question, you need to understand that you need knowledge as a base. You cannot eliminate as it is. Unless you know what is secondary, what is primary, and what is tertiary, you cannot eliminate. You have to know that this is secondary, this is tertiary, this is primary, right? Only then you can answer. Other than that, you can also use this trick that I gave you. 4 pairs. Whenever there is 4 pairs, what will happen? UPSC will interchange. So answer is always 2 pairs. Let us look at his storage of what is primary. Primary is something always that is based on nature. Anything that is based on nature, agriculture or mining. Yeah. So all of these are based on Secondary is conversion of the nature into a finished product. If you convert that nature-based product into a finished product, that is secondary. And tertiary is nothing but service. Okay, let us look at what is primary, what is secondary, and what is service. Storage as a produce, what is it? It is service. Yeah. Dairy farm is nature, so primary. Mineral exploration is doing secondary. Yeah, it is secondary. Weaving of cloth is nothing but changing into finished good. That is also secondary. Here, if you see, these two are right. They have interchanged these two. So the answer is, yeah. Consider the following statements. India has more arable area than China. Maybe. The proportion of irrigated area is more in India as compared to China. Not sure. The average productivity per hectare in agriculture, Indian agriculture, is higher than in China. But what I know is that this is knowledge based only. China is top in many aspects. Wheat, China is top. Rice, China was top at the time when the question was given. China was top. Okay. Then vegetables, China is top. Fruits, China is top. Groundnut, China is top. If China is top in many aspects, then is the average productivity of India high or China high? China high. So 3 is wrong, obviously. And the other trick is that whenever none of the above is given or all 3 are given, usually these 2 are wrong. Right? Whenever the options have all 3 and none, it is usually wrong. Okay. So we remove these 2 options. India has more arable area than China. Yeah. Proportion of irrigated area is more in India as compared to China. True. We have highest amount of groundwater consumption. Where is the groundwater going? Irrigation only. So the highest amount of irrigated area is India only. Based on that, answer is B2 only. Here I'm not using elimination techniques. I'm using my knowledge and common sense. So andukane cheptuna, elimination techniques will not work everywhere. You need knowledge and you need common sense. That is why people ask you to revise. Okay, I'll show you many questions are there, especially in geography, where you cannot use elimination techniques, where you have to only use knowledge and common sense. From 2021 to 25, actually I've taken this from 2017, I guess, 2016 to 2025, 10 years totally, right? So I did not name them, and did not put the year, but they're all PYQs. There's no need to worry. Okay. Next, consider the following statements regarding mercury pollution. Gold mining activity is a source of mercury pollution in the world. Is a source. It's a very vague statement. Whenever the statement is very vague, the statement is right. Okay. Coal-based thermal power plant cause mercury pollution. Common sense. Yeah. Obviously, coal-based power plants obviously put mercury. One is right, two is right. There is no known safe level of exposure to mercury. Now here, the National Institute of Health has conducted a survey, right, and had told that there is no level or no safe level of mercury at all. So actually, according to this is a right statement. But if you go with the elimination techniques, it would be a wrong statement. Elimination techniques, it says that no is extreme. There's no extreme statement at all. But here is it working? No, it's not working. But the statement is right. Right? NIH did a survey and did a study and said that there is no safe level of mercury. So all three are right here. Sometimes you need to go with understanding and knowledge only. Okay. Then you have, which of the following activities constitute real sector in the economy? What is real sector? Real sector. Real sector is something that is producing trades and services. Trades and goods and services, all of these are real sector. Something that is only giving money is called financial sector. You need to have an understanding of this. Okay, only then you will be able to solve this. Right here it says real sector. Farmers harvesting the crop, textile mills converting to raw cotton. Yes. Commercial bank lending money. Is it real sector? Is it? It is financial sector. Corporate body issuing rupee denominated bonds. Financial sector. So what is the answer then? One and two. You need to have understanding of some concepts when it comes to human geography. Yeah. This is a question where you can actually use the elimination technique. Okay. Vietnam has one of the fastest growing economies in the world. It's not an extreme statement. It avoids extreme. Right? It avoids extreme. Vietnam is led by a multi-party political system. I don't know. I don't have an idea of Vietnam. I don't have an idea of Vietnam. Not sure. Vietnam's economic growth is linked to integration with global supply chains and focus on exports. Very weak statement. Yeah, it is not specific, or it's not saying directly. It's not using any extreme words. So it is usually saying what? Saying economic growth is linked to global supply chain and focus on exports. Obviously, any country's growth will be on supply chain and exports only. So this is also true. For a long time, Vietnam's low labor cost and stable exchange rate have attracted global manufacturers. Yeah. How do global manufacturers attract? Based on low exchange rate only. It's also true. Vietnam has the most productive E-sector in the Indo-Pacific region. Most productive in the Indo-Pacific. All Indo-Pacific, only Vietnam is top. It's an extreme statement. If you remove the extreme statements, what is there? This is right. Remove the extreme statement 2. 2 is removed. Answer is C134. I did not have to know whether Vietnam had a multi-political party system. I did not have to know whether Vietnam was actually growing or not. I just had to look at the statement and how the statement was placed. The statements sometimes are placed, they're based on grammatical manner. Okay, whenever they are placed in a grammatically correct manner and they're not showing any extreme statements, then usually the statement is correct. Okay, so the third elimination technique is that whenever there is generalized statements are usually right. Okay, generalized statements are usually right, and obviously extreme statements are usually wrong. Right? It's okay. I'll give time for you to guys to note it down. But yeah. Next we have this particular question: human capital formation as a concept. For this, you need to understand what human capital is. Human capital intended. Here, let us look at the questions. Let us look at the options. Individuals of a country to accumulate more capital. Is it human capital? It's talking about money. Increasing knowledge, skill levels, and capacities of the people of the country. It's talking about skill. Accumulation of tangible wealth. Again, it's talking about money. Accumulation of intangible wealth. What is it? Skill. So human capital is nothing but increasing of knowledge, skill, and accumulation of intangible wealth. Right? And the something that is related to material or money that is related to capital wealth. So answer is 2 and 4. Yeah? With reference to Himalayan rivers joining the Ganga downstream of Prayagraj from west to east, which one of the following sequence is correct? For here, you need to know. You have to know that you have to know the sequence of Ganga. Otherwise, there's no elimination technique here. I've observed this whenever it comes to mapping or when it comes to Indian geography, right? The hills or all of these, UPSC will not give you chance for elimination techniques. It will tell you that try to learn these facts. Okay, whenever it comes to rivers, Indian rivers or mountains or international mapping, all of these you have to visualize India map or international maps. So that is why I suggest everyone who is actually preparing for geography and using mapping, look at the map, take the map and look at the map. And rather than coming up with mnemonics, look at the map. When you look at the map, it will register in your mind. As long as it registers, it is good. You never know which kind of question UPSC might ask. How many countries are there? Many countries. ఇప్పుడు ప్రతిదానికి ఒక న్యూమానిక్ రాసుకుంటూ కూర్చుంటే ఇలా పెద్ద బుక్కే వస్తుంది. You cannot keep making mnemonics. The only way to understand is by visualizing. I'll show you how visualizing also works. Okay. So here it's talking about Ganga. Ganga is nothing but 4G km. That is the mnemonic actually I came up with. Right? 4G km is nothing but Ram Ganga, Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak, Kosi, and Manag. This is the chronology of Ganga. So based on this, if you see Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak, and Kosi, answer is B. This is very factual. You have to have knowledge. Otherwise, you will not be able to eliminate. Then you have Grand Canyon or Gandikota Canyon. For this, you need a little common sense. As a kid, my father showed me this movie called Gandikota Rahasyam. Gandikota Rahasyam is based on Telugu movie. Yeah. Where is it? It's in AP. So I know that Gandikota Canyon is in AP. Okay. Gandikota is in AP. This is the common sense point, but some people might not know. Many people in the north might not know what Gandikota is. Many people in south might know. North people might not know. Okay. So Kaveri, what is the span of Kaveri? Which states does Kaveri pass through? Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Puducherry. Is it passing to AP? No. Manjira, what does it pass through? Telangana, Karnataka, Maharashtra. These are the 3 states it's passing through. Is it passing through AP? No. Tungabhadra, Karnataka, AP, Telangana. Then you have Pennar, which is only passing through Karnataka and AP. You have eliminated 2 options using common sense. You're only left with 2 options. Your answer is C. 99% of the time you will come across these 2 options like this, but you have to see whether it's working or not. Using your common sense will take you a long way rather than using elimination techniques. Okay, don't mainly depend on elimination techniques. They are very last resort. If you solve 50 questions or 60 questions out of 100, then you can use elimination techniques for the next 40. Starting only elimination techniques use cheskunte, it will be very hard for you. Okay, because these kind of questions might come, and what will happen is when you can't answer, when you'll not be able to answer, your mind will go into panic. So even though if you know the next 50 questions, as you are very panicked in nature, your mind will say that exam hoyindi, I mean next year mali rastam. That's what your mind will be like. So that is why I'm saying that whenever you're doing the first iteration, use your knowledge. Use the knowledge base you have. Based on that, you eliminate. Do not use elimination techniques from the start. Okay. So yeah, it is Pennar. Then Dhuandar. This is again very, very factual. As I told you, going the other. It's gone. It's okay. Something is happening to this. Okay. There's no use. Paralega, my voice is okay? Yeah. As I told you that, Zoom gel, okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah. As I told you that whenever it comes to Indian geography and world geography or mapping, UPSC will not give you tricks or you will not give you elimination tricks. Basically, in any paper, usually you'll have 3 to 4 questions coming from Indian geography and mapping. So 4 questions, if you want to leave, you can leave. But if you don't want to leave, be sure with what you're writing. Because if you're not sure, pakka wrong ilpothu. Because you need to factually understand that adi correct and pinpoint cheyagaltene you'll get a right answer. Otherwise, it is wrong answer. Okay. Duandar is it's not in Malwa, it is in Bedghat, that is in MP. So it's not in Malwa. MP Kuda is in Malwa, but it is on eastern side of Malwa. Okay. So one is wrong. Hundru is in Chota Nagpur Plateau and is through a Subarna Lake. And Jersopa is in Western Ghats, that is in Karnataka, but it's not Netravati, it is Saravati. Right? Netravati, Sharavati, Subarnarekha, and Narmada all are independent lakes. They are not tributaries of any other lake. Okay? So this is very factual. Is factual? Is there any scope for elimination? There's no scope for elimination. So if you get these kind of questions, I would ask you to leave. Okay? And I told you that 4 boxes. If you get 4 boxes like this, right? 4 boxes. If you get 4 boxes, then it's only 2 pairs. But when it comes to these, no, there's no trick. UPSC will tell you that here UPSC, any trick will not work. I'll show you, right? I'll show you all the tricks that I've told, and I'll show you where everything is not working at all. Okay. So here the option is only 1. Yeah. Jhelum River passes through Wular Lake. Krishna River directly feeds Koleru. Meandering of Gandak River formed Kanwar Lake. Right? Whenever the factual statements are given, these are all the factual statements. Right? Whenever highly factual statements are given, not all are correct. Right? Only some. Right? All 3 are not correct. As I told you, all 3 is never correct, and none of the above is not correct. So remove these 2, C and D. You have only A and B. Now you have to eliminate which one. Let us look at the options. Okay. Jhelum River passes through Wular Lake. I don't know. Nagar. Krishna River directly feeds into Koleru Lake. It's a direct. It's trying to give you that you can eliminate from here. It is an extreme statement. Yeah. If you remove this, yeah, meandering of Gandak River is formed from Kanwar Lake. Gandak is a river from Ganga. Is it a young lake or old lake? Meandering out the leda. Meandering happens because it's an old river. Yeah. So meandering is common. 3 is right. If you remove 2, you will only have these 2 options. You already removed C and D based on the elimination technique that we used. Lastly, you have B only 2. Yeah. With reference to Indus River system, of the following 4 rivers, there are 3 that pour into one of them which joins the Indus direct. And among the following, which one is such river that joins the Indus directly? Here again, it is very factual. You have to know how the Indus River system works. Only when you understand how the Indus system works, then you'll know. What is there? Firstly, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, BS, Sutlej. Yeah. And then you have Indus. This is how everything is said. Jhelum goes into Chenab, Ravi goes into Chenab, BS goes into Sutlej, and Chenab goes into Sutlej. This is the chronology. So what is the answer here based on this? Sutlej. D is the answer. For this, there's no elimination technique. You have to know the fact that how Indus River system works. Whenever it comes to Indus River system or Ganga or Yamuna, UPSC will ask direct questions. So know these questions or know all the right banks, left banks, how they are flowing and from where they are flowing perfectly. Otherwise, all the other lakes or the other rivers that is in UPSC is asking are indirect rivers only, right? So independent rivers. They are not any rivers or tributaries. Rivers, tributaries, everything it will only ask from Ganga, Yamuna, and Indus. Everything else is independent only. Okay. So whenever you are preparing for Ganga, Yamuna, and Indus, prepare completely. Not only the left bank or the right bank, you should also know which capital cities it is passing through, or what are the monuments that are present in that particular tributary. You have to know all of these. Make a list of all of these so that you won't be able to, you will not be confused. Okay. So yeah, it is Sutlej. Again here, consider the following rivers, which are the above rise from Eastern Ghats. Brahmani is from Jharkhand, right? And Suvarnareka again is from Jharkhand. These are all independent rivers. Independent, 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 independent. These are all independent rivers. They are not tributaries. Yeah. Nagavali rises in Odisha, and Vamsadhara also rises in Odisha. So answer is 2 and 4. You can see here. What did I say? UPSC will give you no chance of elimination in Indian geography and mapping. You have to know ఏదో ఒక చిన్న aspect తెలుసుండాలి. If you do not know at least one single aspect, I would suggest you leave these questions. Unnecessarily 0.66 marks losing is not right. Right? తుక్కలో వస్తే 2 marks రావచ్చు. What if it goes by minus 0.66? What if you are nearly close to the cutoff? What if the cutoff is 95.66 and you lost 0.66 mark? You never know. So always be careful whenever you don't know things. And whenever it comes to Indian geography and world mapping, UPSC will ask factual questions only. Keep this in mind. I'm telling you this because you will go into the exam knowing that UPSC will ask factual questions. River I'll try to eliminate. No, it will not happen. It's only asking factual questions. You can see all of the factual questions I'm showing. With reference to India, Dedwana, Kuchaman, Sargol, and Khatu, what are they? They are all saline lakes. You had to know about Dindwana or Kuchaman, Sargol, or Khatu. Is there any elimination here? It is a very factual question. Okay. Now we are mapping here. You can see Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Paraguay, and Venezuela. How many of the following countries pass through Andes? That is what the question is. I told you that visualizing will work very much. I'll show you how visualizing works. Okay. Let us say I open this. Okay. We'll use this one, guys. Yeah. Can you see here? Is it visible? Yeah. Where is Andes? On the western coast. Where is Brazil? Where is Paraguay? If you actually look at the map, then you would know that Brazil and Paraguay are on the eastern coast, whereas all of the Andes is in the western coast. When you look at this question, what is it saying? Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, Venezuela, Paraguay, and Brazil. How can you eliminate? Paraguay and Brazil. This will only work if you know how the map works. Didn't came mnemonically. There's no mnemonic saying that Andes is passing through all of this, it's not passing through this. If you visualize the map, it would have worked perfectly. So I would suggest you guys to take Africa's map, and South America's map, and also Europe's map. Right? These 3 maps take and then visualize them, because UPSC will ask mainly from these questions. I mean these continents, only from these continents. Africa is UPSC's favorite. If you see any question, I'll show you all the questions also. Africa, UPSC will ask many questions from Africa. So Africa should be in your mind. Secondly, South America, and lastly, Europe. These 3 are the continents that you have to have. Take the map, visualize them. Alani, don't take the world map. Take individual maps. As if you have the individual maps, it will work better. So if it's asking about Africa, you can visualize Africa. If it's asking about Europe, you can visualize Europe. And then if you take the world map, only you'll look at the world map. It will be very confusing. So use these maps. Okay. 1, Africa. 2, South America. And 3, Europe. These are the 3 maps that you need to visualize. Practice visualization as the exam is near. 30 days is more than enough. You can visualize all of these 30 days. It is less than 30 days, but still visualizing will help you easily answer these. Okay. And also look at conflict areas. Now you're looking at Africa, Europe and South America. No? Look at the conflict areas in these. Look at complete map, but more focus on should be on the conflict areas. If something is going in Nigeria, look at Nigeria. Something is going in Algeria, look at Algeria. Okay, that is how you need to look. Conflict and the complete map. Yeah. So the answer is only 4. Then you have how many of the above countries have more than 4 time zones? Very factual. And Denmark. Clear, I'll go. Yeah. I did not go to Denmark. I did not go to UK. I did not go to New Zealand, Australia, Brazil. I don't know. Yeah. So it's saying that how many of them have 5 time zones? UK, it has around 5. Denmark also has 5. New Zealand has 6. Australia has 6. So Brazil does not have 5 time zones. It only has 4. So only 4 is the answer. If you actually try to analyze this, we have France and Russia also. Russia has 11 time zones and all of them within the mainland. And France has 12 time zones and that are including overseas. Right? Including all the countries overseas, France has 12 time zones, whereas Russia has 11 time zones only including the mainland.
Sir, New Zealand has more than
5 plus, around 5. Around 5 only. Yeah. They'll use half hour time zones. Just like how India is using 5.5 hours. Just like that, they'll also use 5.5 hours or half an hour timeline. Something based on that. Okay. So the answer is only 4. It is very factual. If you are very strong at world mapping, do it. If you're not strong, I would strongly suggest you to leave these questions. Okay. Anadir in Siberia and Nome in Alaska are few kilometers from each other, but when people are waking up and getting set for breakfast in the cities, it would be different days. When it is Monday in Anadir, it is Tuesday in Nome. For this, you actually have to have an idea of where Anadir is and where Nome is. Only when you know these two, then you will be able to answer where west is and where is which is on the east. A the east on the west on the then you will be able to answer the second statement. Yeah, but the first statement is actually right because it is only trying to describe. It is not trying to say any extreme statement. Fact is there any fact here? There's no fact. It is only saying that Anadir and Siberia and Nome in Alaska are few kilometers from each other. But when people are waking up and getting set for breakfast in the cities, it would be different days. This is very vague. It is a very generalized statement. And generalized statements are usually right. Right? When it comes to Monday and Anadir and it's Tuesday in Nome, it is wrong. Because it is Monday in Anadir means Nome it is Sunday. Yeah? So 2 is wrong, 1 is right. The world mapping questions are very boring because everything is factual. Everything is factual only. At least after this, you will have some conceptual where I can explain concepts. But in world mapping, there is totally conceptual. Factual. Botswana, Chile, and Indonesia. I told you that 3 statements question, UPSC will give random states, random answers. It will not say that only 1 pair is right, only 2 pairs are right, none are right. It will not give you what you call a fixed answer. Whenever it's 3 statement, it can be very random. Okay. So Botswana, yes, Botswana is actually resource rich in diamond. Chile, yes. What are the resource rich countries in lithium? CB. Okay. Chile, Argentina, and Bolivia. So obviously lithium is right. Indonesia, nickel. Yeah. Then you have some other countries like Guinea in bauxite. Then you have cobalt. Cobalt, I think it is Democratic Republic of Congo. Yeah. So all of these are there. Keep this in mind. And when it comes to Kazakhstan, Kazakhstan in uranium, because uranium is actually important now. UPSC might ask a question on uranium. So Kazakhstan is is the number one producer of uranium, and it is producing nearly 40% of global uranium. Kazakhstan. Okay, so Botswana in diamond, Chile in lithium, Indonesia in nickel, Guinea in bauxite, cobalt, Democratic Republic of Congo, Kazakhstan, uranium, and Australia also bauxite. All right. This is very factual. If you have read those resource-rich countries, then only you will be able to answer this. Otherwise, there's no chance of you answering this, right? The longest border between two countries in the world. For this, again, visualization is very important. If you looked at Canada, Canada is very big. Then again, United States is also very big. They have the longest border. So A is the answer. Term Levant, often heard in news, roughly corresponds to which of the following regions? Region along Mediterranean shores. Here we can use one, what you call elimination trick, where they are giving multiple facts. If a statement contains multiple facts, it is wrong. Okay. A statement, region along North African shores, stretching from Egypt to Morocco. How many facts? One, two. Two facts. So any statement that contains multiple facts is usually wrong. So B is wrong. Region along Persian Gulf and Horn of Africa, no. And the other trick that we can use is if there is similar statements. Here you can see that it's talking about Mediterranean Sea. Here it is also talking about Mediterranean. If the two statements are right, I mean similar, then one of those are right. Okay. Extreme. Entire is extreme. So you'll obviously remove D. So the answer is A. Here I didn't know about Mediterranean Sea, I mean Levant region, but I was able to commit an answer. This is only because of UPSC. UPSC was like, I understand you. Usually I do not give any tricks or tips or techniques for elimination, but in this particular question I'm giving you techniques. Okay. So here you can use an elimination technique and coming up with A. Here again, regions sometimes mentioned in news: Catalonia, Spain; Crimea and Hungary; Mindanao and Philippines; and Oromia and Nigeria. Oromia is present in Ethiopia, and Crimea is part of Ukraine and is part of Central Europe. So these two are totally different. So the answer is 1 and 3 only. Again, very factual. These kind of questions UPSC will ask. So whenever you are preparing for mapping, ensure that you are visualizing. Which continents will you visualize? Europe, Africa, France. Your questions are based on Europe and Africa only. That is why I'm saying Africa, Europe, and South America are all very important topics for UPSC. It will take those continents only. If you see any question, any mapping question you take, all of these will be from Europe or South America or Africa. Yeah. Again, look at this question. Okay. Again, Europe. Yeah. Mallorca, it is in Italy. No, it is not in Italy. It is in Spain. Normandy, it is in France, and Sardinia, it is in Italy. So none of them are right. We have seen almost 4 to 5 3-statement questions, and in each and every 3-statement question, the answer is different. Here it is D. Here it is all 3. In other one we saw it was only 1, and in other statement we also only 2. So UPSC, whenever it comes to 3 statements, it is giving random statements, random answers. So do not fix when it comes to 3 statements. Whenever you see a 3-statement question, be a little aware. Okay. So yeah. Here, at that time, Ukraine was actually in the news a lot. That is why UPSC gave that question based on Ukraine. It asked how many of the mentioned above countries are land borders of Ukraine. Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, and Romania. Only Hungary and Romania are bordering Ukraine. What are the other countries? Russia. Poland. Moldova. Slovakia. Belarus. And Hungary and Romania. These are the countries that are bordering. The reason I am telling you check all of the countries is because here you can see here asked about Hungary. Based on Hungary, here they asked about Ukraine. So that is why PYQ is always the goal. Because from the PYQs, you will be able to understand which question UPSC might ask in the next paper. If you actually look at all the mapping questions, similar connection ఉంటుంది. There's always some connection when it comes to mapping. Okay. Next we have, which one of the following lakes of the West Africa, again Africa, you can see here, has become dry and turned into a desert. Very factual. Only if you know that a particular lake in Africa has dried, you will be able to answer. Otherwise, no. What will you do if you come across these questions? Will you try or will you leave? Yeah. Lake Victoria, obviously, it is part of Nile. It won't be dry. Dry aithe mottam Africa out gothi. But we don't know about these three, no? We were able to eliminate only one. But what about the other three? You cannot blindly say that this one is there, this one is, or this one is there. You have to absolutely know that it is Lake Fagubin. Only when you know that Lake Fagubin was actually dried and turned into a desert, you will be able to answer. Otherwise, no. So what will you do? Leave. Now we have come to trees. What are deciduous trees? Yeah. What are the trees? What are the trees? Teak, sal, teak, sal, shisham, mawa, neem, sandalwood. All of these are what? Deciduous trees. Here it is clearly given that mawa and teak are there. But you don't know whether jackfruit is deciduous or not. It is a tropical fruit. Jackfruit is a tropical fruit. Tropical fruit and equator near untadi. Whenever some plant is present in equator, what is it? Is it deciduous or evergreen? Evergreen. So that way you have to eliminate. Now, are all fruits evergreen? Which fruits are deciduous? Which fruits are deciduous? Option, yeah. Okay. Orange, apple, pomegranate, and grape wine. Yeah. Which of these are deciduous? Orange. All are deciduous. Where are apples grown? Apples require a cool temperature. ఇప్పుడు లదాఖ్లో ట్రీ షెడ్ అవ్వా? Kashmir apples ఏముంటారు? ఎవర్గ్రీనా? దే నాట్ ఎవర్గ్రీన్, దే ఆర్ డెసిడస్. డ్రై అనలే, డెసిడస్ అన్న. ఓకే, సో యాపిల్, ఆరెంజ్, pomegranate, grapevine, all of them are deciduous only. So you need to keep all of this in mind because UPSC is asking these kind of questions. This is how you analyze. PYQs ఏం చేస్తారంటే many people just look at the options and ఆ జాక్ ఫ్రూట్ ఏంటి అని ఆలోచిస్తారు కానీ what kind of question UPSC might ask, which of the fruits are deciduous, which of the fruits are evergreen, ఇక్కడ అడిగినప్పుడు అక్కడ అడగడానికి రీజన్ ఏముంది, he might ask. Yeah? So answer is only B only 2. Leaf litter decomposes faster than in any. Whenever these kind of questions are coming, try to look for key terms. Right? UPSC will give a key term. Andukante there is one person who will try to read all of these. Right? The person who will read the complete paragraph and waste time, and one person will look for the key term. Who is saying more time? So the person who is waiting for the key term. UPSC will give key terms for those kind of people who are looking for key terms. Okay? Here you can clearly say that epiphytes are there. Epiphytes are part of tropical. What is epiphyte? It actually grows. Yeah? Creepers. So tropical rainforest. So that is how you need to see epiphytes. Whenever there is high paragraph or big paragraphs, look for key terms. Okay, whenever there are big paragraphs, look for key terms. Now let us look at the key terms of all the other tropical forests. Like for tropical forest, we have epiphytes, buttress roots, and evergreen trees. Evergreen. All these are part of tropical. Whenever it comes to deciduous including wet and dry. In wet deciduous, you will have shedding in winter. Whenever it comes to dry deciduous, it is long dry season. Okay, these are the key terms when it comes to tropical deciduous in wet and dry. Then you have mangrove. What are the key terms in mangrove? Viviparity. Then pneumatophores, and then you have this other term. What are the terms? Pneumatophores, viviparity, and what is pneumatophores? And halophytes. What is pneumatophore? Okay, pneumonia. Which disease is it? Respiratory. So it is obviously talking about breathing. So pneumatophores then gurinchi undachu. Breathing. How will mangroves breathe? Roots that come out from the ground are pneumatophores. That is nothing but breathing, So pneumatophores is something related to breathing of mangroves. Halophytes are nothing but salt tolerant crops. Then you have viviparity. Viviparity means germination. The seeds germinate on top and then fall down. That's called viviparity. These are the three aspects of mangroves. Then you have coniferous forests. Coniferous forests include conical shaped trees and pines or conical shaped leaves. Right? Conical shaped leaves, you have pines there, pine nuts or spice, fruit, you all are there. You are all part of coniferous. These are the key terms in coniferous. Then podzol or acidic soil. Right? Podzols or acidic soils are present in coniferous. So these are all the key terms that are present in mangroves, tropical, deciduous, and coniferous forest. Okay? Did you know that now? With reference to Gucci, sometimes mentioned in the news, consider the following statements. Okay? Gucci ante naaku ledu. Gucci oka brand undani telusu ante naaku. Fungus undani teliyam kuda telusu. Asalu fungus ani nenu cheppesam andra. Okay. So it is grown in some Himalayan forest areas. Some. It is avoiding extremes. Anything that avoid extremes is true. So this is true. So if I remove the options that do not have 2, I'm only left with C and D. Now I don't know if it is a fungus or not. But what I know is a trick. Trick saying that if there are multiple facts in a statement, it is wrong. It is commercially cultivated in the foothills, Himalayan foothills of Northeast India. Multiple facts. What happens when you see multiple fact statement? I didn't have to know whether it was a fungus or not. I only had to know that particular elimination technique saying that if there are multiple facts in a statement, then that statement is wrong. That way, we are able to arrive at an answer. If you see here, in every question we are bringing some key term or some elimination technique, but in mapping, did we have an elimination technique? No. So, Chaptuna, keep this in mind, strongly keep this in mind whenever you're reading mapping or whenever you're doing mapping, know it. And only if you know it, answer it in the exam. Otherwise, don't answer it at all. Unnecessarily using 2-3 marks is, 4-5 marks or 6 marks is waste of time. Okay. Obviously, you'll not answer 100 to 100 questions. It will obviously leave some 10 questions or 12 questions. Out of the 10, 12 questions, leave mapping. You'll only have 3-4 questions. 3-4 questions, so 10, 12, these things can be. You still have 8 questions you want to leave. Okay. Choose wisely. UPSC, in UPSC exam, be it in CSAT and be it in GS, it is always about choosing. Knowledge, choosing, and elimination. Only when all of these three combine, you'll be able to qualify. Okay. Yeah. Minerals. India has joined the Mineral Security Partnership as a member. No idea. India is a resource-rich country in all 30 critical minerals that it has identified. Very extreme statement. Obviously, you'll remove 2. What happens if you'll remove 2? I didn't have to know anything at all. I didn't have to know anything about mineral partnership, or whether India has all 30 minerals, or whether Parliament has enacted or amended 2023. I didn't have to know anything at all. This is where you use complete elimination trick. No knowledge at all. I did not even use small ounce of knowledge. I only use the knowledge of elimination trick only. Okay. So answer is 1 and 3. Here, ilmenite, rutile, abundantly available in certain coastal tracts in India, are rich sources of which one of the following? UPSC has many times asked on coastal sands. Coastal sands and what are the elements present in coastal sands? I'll show you many questions that are there in this PDF, which are based on coastal sands only. And what are the elements present in coastal sand? Now, what are the elements present in coastal sand? Monazite, ilmenite, rutile, silica, and sillimanite, kyanite. Right? Kyanite and sillimanite are ores of aluminium, byproducts of aluminium, and ilmenite and rutile are byproducts of titanium, and monazite is part of thorium, and silica obviously. Yeah, these are all present in all of these sands, coastal sands. I'll show you where UPSC asked all of these. Okay, what are there? Monazite, ilmenite, rutile, silica, sillimanite, and kyanite. Okay, so here the answer is D. It is titanium. Okay. About 3/4 of world's cobalt metal required for manufacturing of batteries for electric motor vehicles is produced by. We talked about it. What is it? Democratic Republic of Congo. C is the answer. Here you have to know factual. It is very factual. So again, mapping. Let us look at this statement. Some rare earth elements are used in the manufacture of flat television screens and computer monitors. Some. It is avoiding extreme. Some rare earth elements have phosphorescent properties. Again, some. So answer is A. Both statements are right and they're both explaining each other. Okay, we can add the clause of because. Some rare earth elements are used in manufacture of flat television screens and computer monitors because some rare earth elements have phosphorescent properties. So they are explaining each other. No? So answer is A. Here there's no need for you to understand a trick or a particular element. Do you have to know whether which element has phosphorescent techniques or not? Awesome. You only have to know whether it is a generalized statement or not. Is it avoiding an extreme statement or not? In India, despite having uranium deposits, depends on a coal for most of its electricity production. Yeah, it is obviously given. Uranium enriched to extent of at least 60% is required for production of electricity. 60%. Usually the enrichment is nearly around 3 to 5%. For all the nuclear reactors to work, the enrichment is nearly 3 to 5%. And for the submarines to power, it is usually 20%. Right? All the SSBNs are there. Nuclear powered submarines. They are all powered using 20% enrichment. Whereas all the nuclear reactors on the land are enriched to 3 to 5% only. 60% enrichment is used for what? Bombs. That is why they are attacking Iran now. Hey, they are actually trying to enrich more. Okay? So obviously second statement is wrong. Here what you need to understand is that you have to have knowledge. What is enrichment and where enrichment is used. Or you can use this trick called where anything that UPSC gives with a fact or numbers, it is usually wrong. So statement 2 is wrong and 1 is right. So answer is C. Okay. I told you it's asking about monazite. Monazite is a source of rare earths. Okay. Plain statement. Monazite contains thorium. Okay. Monazite occurs naturally in entire Indian coast. Entire. No, not necessarily. Obviously 3 is wrong. If you remove 3, what happens? But some people might ask, it is given only. Only is also an extreme statement. Then why are we not eliminating that? What is monazite used for? Only can, it's not that, but you need to use some knowledge. Monazite is used for creation of thorium. We have a 3-stage program. What are the 3 stages? What is the 3-stage program in India? I'll explain the 3-stage program, then we'll get back to this particular question. We have 3 stages, right? Stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Okay. In the first stage, they'll be using uranium-235 and uranium-238. Now, uranium-235 is very fissile. Okay. Fissile meaning that if you throw a neutron onto the uranium-235, it will burst. Okay. And uranium-238 is not fissile at all. Meaning if you throw a neutron onto uranium-238, it will absorb. But for fission, we need explosion. Okay. So what will happen? They'll throw a neutron onto uranium-235 and it will explode and will generate more neutrons. Okay. And these neutrons will go and attack uranium-238. And this uranium-238 along with neutrons will turn into plutonium-239. Right? This will turn into plutonium-239, which is again fissile. Fissile meaning that it is more prone to nuclear fission. Okay, now they will take this plutonium-239 into stage 2. Okay, plutonium-239 and the leftover uranium-238. They'll take the plutonium-239 and uranium-238 and then they'll undergo fission for plutonium-239. Now this will burst and it will create neutrons and all of these will be absorbed by uranium-238. And when uranium-238 absorbs neutrons, what will come? Plutonium-239. This is called fast breeder reactor. Where is the fast breeder reactor in India? Kalpakkam. Kalpakkam, where fast breeder reactor is there and it has attained criticality. What is criticality? UPSC question is saying criticality is nothing but it is able to sustain the chain of reactions, meaning that it is able to convert plutonium-239, meaning uranium-238 into plutonium-239 in a sustainable manner. only certain amount of neutrons are released and those certain amount of neutrons are absorbed. So it is stable. Supercriticality ante more amount of neutrons, it is very unstable. Criticality meaning it is very stable and it is breeding more plutonium-239. Okay. After this, they'll also had here thorium-232. Thorium-232 that we actually find in monazite, right? And these neutrons will hit thorium-232 in the second stage and it will turn into uranium-233. Now this uranium-233 is very fissile, just like uranium-235. Now they'll take this uranium-233 into the third stage and they'll put thorium-232. And this will go under coefficient and it will convert thorium-232 into uranium-233. This is three-stage program that we have. In India, we have reactors for stage 1 and reactors for stage 2, but we do not have reactors for stage 3. For stage 1, we have 7 reactors. There's Tarapur, there is Karpak, Kaiga is there, and Narora is there. So many power stations are there where pressurized heavy water reactors are there. Kalpakkam is the only place where we have fast breeder reactors. For third stage, we do not have any reactors. So this is a 3-stage program. Now going back, monazite is a source of rare earth. True. Monazite contains thorium. Obviously, we explained this now. Monazite occurs in entire coastal sands. No. The reason we only say we accept this statement is because thorium is a radioactive element. When it is a radioactive isotope, what is happening? Who is in charge? Central government only. You cannot give it to private. Now government is actually opening up. But at that time, government did not open up at all because there is high scope of misusing. So that is why government bodies only have the authority for exporting and processing of thorium. So that's why this is also right. So answer is D. Here again you can see, I talked about silvanite and kyanite. What are they? Where are they present? Coastal sands. That is why UPSC is more focused on these. Okay, bentonite. Bentonite is actually used in drilling sands. So you need to have that particular idea that bentonite is used for drilling and other aspects. Otherwise, you'll not be able to arrive at an answer. Guess what? And I would highly suggest do not guess in the exam, because if you guess once, it will take 1 year for you to guess again. Okay, do not guess. So answer is D here. The annual daily range of temperatures is low. Okay, in equatorial climate also annual daily range is low. Precipitation occurs throughout the year. Equatorial precipitation varies between 550 centimeters to 250. But in equatorial, it is usually 200 to 300. 250 to 300, it is very high. Because every afternoon there is what? Thunderstorms. Okay, every afternoon in equatorial climate there is thunderstorm. So obviously, precipitation does not vary like that. In China type climate, it is subtropical. Look at UPSC. Subtropical climate is It is using the same 2 statements. Just to change name changes. China and Ichadu, subtropical humid climate in nature. But both of them are equal only. Same. So even these 2 are not there. Last we have is Marine West Coast. Yeah, there's the answer. Where Marine West Coast has a daily range of nearly 5 to 10 degrees, and the temperature is, or the precipitation is usually 50 to 50, and precipitation is throughout the year. Precipitation throughout the year. Yeah, these are all when it comes to this particular question. కానీ ఇక్కడ ఏమన్నా కోస్టల్ క్లైమేట్ అన్నాడు కదా, కోస్ట్లో స్నో రాదు కదా, కోస్ట్ ఈజ్ ఆల్వేస్ వార్మ్, సో ద ప్రెసిపిటేషన్ ఆఫ్ స్నో ఇస్ వెరీ, స్నో అవ్వచ్చు, రెయిన్ అవ్వచ్చు, ఇట్ క్యాన్ బి స్నో ఆర్ రెయిన్, it can be both. Okay, here the Red Sea receives very little precipitation in any form. No water enters Red Sea from rivers. Both are very extreme. But if you actually look at UPSC elimination techniques, extremes are always wrong. But here, both of them are right. Right? Here, Red Sea receives very little precipitation from any form, and no water enters Red Sea from any river. Both are right. Here you can clearly see that the elimination technique is not working at all. Andukane chepta, elimination technique will not work in every place. It can work for 80% of the time. For 20% of the time, it will not work. But for 80% of the time, for it to work, you need to have knowledge. Build a knowledge base. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see in polity. Okay. When it comes to polity, there are some elimination techniques when it comes to environment, when it comes to polity. Look at those. Okay. Don't worry. Yeah. No water enters the Red Sea from rivers, and Red Sea receives very little precipitation. Both 1 and 2 are right. Again, what did I talk? South America, Africa. Favorite topics for UPSC? Yeah. Here again, you have to know that it is the Congo Basin, that it is the very largest tropical peatland and all. So it is very factual. Okay. Ikkada kuda guess kottandi lapothe. Okay. I'm showing all of these questions not to educate you, but I'm trying to tell you that these kind of questions are being asked by UPSC. If I wanted to show, I would have shown you all the elimination techniques. A question like elimination techniques, I would have picked those questions and I would have shown you. But I wanted to show you guys the reality. Only when you guys are aware of the reality, you will prepare in different manner. Like elimination techniques and confidence elimination techniques, what will happen? Or wait to go elimination techniques funny chale. So do not use elimination techniques that much. Know the reality that UPSC is transitioning from elimination techniques to knowledge based. The more conceptual understanding you have, the more chances are there for you to clear in an easy manner. Smooth. Okay. So yeah, the soil in tropical rainforest is rich in nutrients. Is it rich in nutrients? Why not? Exactly. As there are many trees, as there is high biodiversity, right, and species diversity in tropical areas, all of the trees will absorb the nutrients from the soil. So most of the time, soil is very poor in nutrients. Okay. So that is why first one is wrong. Delaying also knowledge. High temperature and moisture of tropical rainforests cause dead organic matter in the soil to decompose quickly. Obviously, as I've told you, fragmentation whenever, what is the process of decomposition? There's a process of decomposition. We talked about it yesterday. What is it? Fragmentation. Fragmentation. Then? Indeed. Leaching. Then catabolism, humification, and mineralization. In tropical forest, humification will not happen. Why? Because of the temperature. As there is high temperature, decomposition is very fast. So humus is not formed in tropical areas. It was only formed in temperate areas. So that is why second statement is right and first statement is wrong. So answer is C. You got C on you got C. Okay. Oh, you got C only. So D. First statement is incorrect. Second statement is right. Vegetation. Yeah. The vegetation of savanna consists of grasslands with scattered small trees, but extensive areas have no trees at all. He's saying that savannas have no trees, obviously. The forest development in such areas is generally kept in check by one or more combinations of some condition. Which of the following are such conditions? He's mainly asking, what is he asking? Savannas do not have trees. He's asking, what are the conditions which are ensuring that there are no trees? Let us look. Fires, obviously that is a main criteria of savanna. Yeah. So if you remove 2, the options without 2, what is there? C and D are there. Sorry, B and D are gone. Without. B and D are gone. The only options that you're left with is A and C. Now let us look at 1 and 3 and 4. Burrowing animals and termites. This is something that is causing trees to not grow. But seasonal rains and grazing herbivores are main causes because they are taking out the weeds and also the plants that are growing. That is why C is the answer. Here, there is no need for you to use a trick at all. You only have to use common sense. Okay, this is where you use common sense. Sometimes knowledge, sometimes common sense, and sometimes elimination. But it's not common for all.
Here the soil is rich as
Ekada?
soil properties rich nutrients. Yeah.
Soil is not that rich. Savannas, Indy. What are the characteristics of savannas? Grasslands. And tall grass and no trees. Tall grass and no trees are the main feature of savannas. And all of these savannas are not that rich in nutrients at all. That is why they are not growing trees now. Nutrient rich unte emaidi. Trees are not growing means what is there? Precipitation ఎక్కువ లేకపోవడం వల్ల and nutrients ఎక్కువ లేకపోవడం వల్ల. అంతే కదా? That is why it's happening. Forest fires అయితే ఏమొస్తుంది? What will happen if forest fires are there? Bacteria ఏమవుతుంది? Worms ఏమవుతాయి? అవి న్యూట్రియన్స్ ఉంటాయా? అంతే కదా? Another question here. Here we can use you can use the elimination trick. Moringa drumstick is a leguminous evergreen tree. నాకు ములక్కాడ తినడం తప్ప I don't know whether it is an evergreen tree or not. Okay. Tamarind is endemic to South Asia. No idea. In India, most of the tamarind is collected as minor forest produce. Most of them, meaning that it is avoiding extreme. So anything that is avoiding extreme is a right statement. India exports tamarind and seeds of moringa. Generalized statement. India has to export. Adega survive. True. Seeds of moringa and tamarind can be used. True. So now let us look at the options where we have 3, 4 and 5. Okay. 3 is not there. 5 is not there. 4 is not there. Answer is? I didn't have to know whether drumstick was evergreen or not. I didn't have to know whether tamarind is endemic to South Asia or not. I only had to look at the generalized statements. Yeah. So that is why sometimes it will work, sometimes it will not work. Sometimes you need to have conceptual understanding. The amount of dust particles in the atmosphere is more in subtropical and temperate areas than in equatorial and polar regions because subtropical and temperate areas have less dry winds. True? Huh? What are the dry winds that are present in subtropical and polar areas? What are the dry winds present in subtropical and temperate areas? What are the what are the winds? Names ఉంటాయి కదా. Canary current కదా. What if you get a question on dry winds in UPSC? Because UPSC has already asked on dry winds. What if UPSC asks what are the dry winds present in subtropical and temperate areas? What is Chinook? Chinook. It is dry. Mistral, it is cold. Lu, Foen. All these are what? Dry winds that are present in subtropical and temperate areas. That is why there is more dust. That is why there is less dust in tropical and polar areas. Why? Because all of the dry winds are here only. Yeah? Keep a list of all the dry winds that are present in temperate and subtropical areas. Okay. Any doubt? So second statement is wrong, first statement is right. Answer is C. Without the atmosphere, temperature would be well below freezing point everywhere on Earth's surface. Obviously, atmosphere ఏం చేస్తుంది? What does atmosphere do? Atmosphere traps heat. Common sense. Yeah. Heat absorbed and trapped by the planet, by the atmosphere, maintains our planet's average temperature. Common sense. Atmospheric gases like carbon dioxide are particularly good at absorbing and trapping radiation. Again, common sense. Learn on the. There's no external knowledge that I need, or there's no need for any elimination technique also. I just have to use common sense. See the answer. With reference to water vapor, which of the following statements is correct? India is a gas, the amount of which decreases with altitude. True. As temperature or the altitude rises, water vapor decreases. One is right. Its percentage is maximum at poles. Is it? No. One only. Knowledge, completely knowledge based, no elimination. Thickness of the troposphere at the equator is much greater as compared to poles, because at the equator heat is transported to a greater heights by strong convectional currents. True. Knowledge again. If you actually see all of the questions that we discussed till now, and 40 questions discussion, we've used elimination techniques in only 10. All the others we have used common sense, knowledge, or factual information. What does this say? Anything. Whenever you are focusing on geography, ensure that you're only studying factual content and gaining knowledge. Do not rely on elimination techniques when it comes to geography. Okay, that is what I wanted to point out when it comes to this class. The main class is not to give you rapid revision. Rapid revision next week on. We'll have rapid revision on geography, economy, history, all of those on the next week. But this class is to show you how you have to study. And the only way you will be able to study is by knowing what you are studying and what UPSC is asking. UPSC is asking only knowledge-based, factual-based questions in geography. If you study all the subjects in a similar manner, you'll be doomed. You have to study geography with concept, polity with powers and restrictions, economy with concept, history with timeline. Let's chadivi and understanding what UPSC is asking. Only then you will be able to be aligned. There is the syllabus of UPSC is very vast. You have to confine it. Only when you confine it, you will be able to study properly. Otherwise, you will only be studying all the books. Books raskuntuntaru, books chestha untaru. There's no use at all. Okay, that is why this class is there. Okay. So yeah. With reference to Earth's atmosphere, which one of the following statements is correct? The total amount of insolation received at the equator is roughly about 10 times. 10 times. If you go with the elimination technique, anything that is given by number is wrong. 10 times. Here it is given two-third. Two-third is number. Number means wrong. Infrared waves are part of visible spectrum. What are infrared waves? Terrestrial radiation. Ante what are they? What do they do? What is the main purpose of infrared waves? Transmit heat. Their main purpose is to transmit heat. ఇప్పుడు సన్ నుండి వస్తున్న హీట్ మనకు కనిపిస్తుందా? No. So it is obviously not in the visible light spectrum. What is the spectrum? If I had to put all of these on chronology, radio waves, microwaves, infra, visible, this is the spectrum. Earth releases infrared rays. All the infrared rays that Earth releases is thermal infrared. Okay, meaning that they are far infrared rays. Whereas sun, what does sun release? Short wave. But whereas if you see here, infrared is long or short? Long. Infrared is long. I think how is it possible that sun is releasing short wave and the infrared is long? It is contradictory, no? Sun is releasing short wave. That is why it is opaque to the atmosphere. But infrared is a long wave. Contradictory. Why? Because sun releases near infrared. In infrared, there are three types. One is far, one is middle, and one is near. Okay. Far infrared is what is released by Earth. Near infrared is released by sun. They are closer to visible light. Near infrared are closer to visible light. That is why the infrared released by Earth is long and the infrared released by sun is short. Okay. So this is the visible light spectrum, and sun releases near infrared, whereas Earth releases far infrared. This is a concept because it is important. Infrared gurinchi adingi kabatti I am explaining concept. Okay. So here you can see that infrared waves are largely absorbed by water vapor that is concentrated in the lower atmosphere. Here again you have to use only techniques and knowledge. Okay. In the tropical zone, the western sections of the ocean are warmer than the eastern sections owing to the influence of trade winds. Now, what are trade winds? Easterlies, yeah, okay. Trade winds are easterlies. Okay. Trade winds are easterlies that go from east to west. And where are they present? Zero to 30 degrees. Okay. Now, how are they linked to tropical zones and the western section of ocean warm? How do they keep the western sections of ocean warm and eastern sections of the ocean cold? Okay, let us look at this. Basically, there is Eastern Pacific, right? And there is Western Pacific. Eastern Pacific leads to Peru, all the regions including South America, right? Eastern Pacific, Peru, and all. Western Pacific includes Indonesia and Australia. Yeah. So, what is the main characteristic of wind? Main characteristic. Characteristic of a wind. Easterly sunlight. Their main characteristic is that they move from high pressure to low pressure. So usually in the Eastern Pacific there is high pressure, and it moves from high pressure to low pressure westerlies. And when they are moving from high pressure Eastern Pacific to low pressure, they are transporting warm water. Warm water is transported to the Western Pacific. That is why the western part of the ocean is warm. As the warm water is moving away, what will happen? The cold water will come up. And that is why the eastern part is cool. This is when what will happen? The rains will be normal. This is when the rains will be normal. But sometimes the trade winds will weaken. Why will the trade winds weaken? El Nino and La Nina are being formed. Yeah, El Nino and La Nina are a part of Pacific Ocean only. Now, why are they being formed? Which currents? Okay. When Peru current weakens, what will happen? As there is cold water here and there is warm water here, this normal transfer. If the Peru current actually warms more, what will happen? Here there is warm water. Ikkada warm water undi, ikkada warm water unte, what will happen? Pressure here is low. Here also the pressure is low. So the wind is not moving at all. So that is why this causes El Nino. When the Eastern Pacific is warm, then it causes El Nino, as it weakens trade winds. Right? As the Eastern Pacific warms, trade winds weaken. That is why there is El Nino. If the Eastern Pacific is cooler, there is high amount of pressure. High pressure is there. When the high pressure is strong, what will happen? La Nina. Yeah. So that is what the question is asking. Question is asking that in the tropical zone, the western sections of the ocean are warmer and the eastern sections owing to the influence of trade winds. The western sections are warmer because eastern sections are sending warm water, and that is mainly because of trade winds. There is no elimination here. You can understanding raw trade winds ante enti and how do trade winds work. Without that understanding, you will not be able to solve this question. Yeah, it's true. In temperate zones, westerlies make eastern sections of the ocean warmer than the western sections. Just like how easterlies work, westerlies also work in the same way. They're sending from where? West to east. So west is cool and east is warm. That is what the question is saying. So what? Both the statements are right. Ikkada emana trick unda? No trick. It is only based on knowledge. Here you can use a trick, I guess. With reference to the ocean mean temperature, which of the following statements is or are correct? OMD is measured up to a depth of 26 degrees isotherms, which is 129 meters in the southern West Indian Ocean during January and March. What is the elimination trick that you'll use? Okay, number is given, you will strike it down. The other elimination technique that you'll use is multiple facts. Right? Multiple facts are given. Whenever a statement has multiple facts, what is it? It is wrong. OMT collected during January to March can be used in assessing whether amount of rainfall in monsoon will be less or more than certain long-term mean. What is it saying? It is a positive statement. It is saying can be. Anything that has can be is positive. Anything that is positive is right. We only do. Jet streams occur only in the northern hemisphere. Is it? No, they both occur in north and south. Only some cyclones develop an eye. Is it true? Only Anandika. Only tropical cyclones that are very strong form an eye. If the tropical cyclone does not meet the certain characteristics, it will not form an eye. What are the characteristics of cyclone? What are the criteria for formation of cyclone? Low pressure. Okay. Low pressure and high temperature. Okay. Very warm ocean. Okay. And divergence. Yeah. What is divergence? Wind shear. Low vertical wind shear. And main only. There's one more criteria that is very main for formation of cyclone. Without this, cyclones will not form at all. What is it? Obviously, they'll move from high pressure to low pressure. But there's one criteria for cyclones only. Coriolis force. Coriolis force should be strong. Should be there. That is why cyclones are not formed at tropical equator. Why? There's no Coriolis force at all. Okay. So these are the criteria. Only when all of these criteria are met, then eye is formed. Otherwise, eye is not forming. Only that cyclone will be there, but it will dissipate as soon as possible. Okay, so yeah, second statement is right. The temperature inside the eye of a cyclone is nearly 10 degrees less than that of surroundings. Now, what is eye? Low pressure area. Whenever there is low pressure, what happens? Is it cool or hot? Warm. What is it saying? Eye is cool and surrounding is hot. It is the opposite. If you want, you can actually use this number technique, where anything that with a number is wrong. So 3 is wrong, 2 is right, 1 is wrong. Answer is 2 only.
Every number normally
90%. See, అందుకనే చెప్పా, elimination techniques will not work 100%. 90% of the time they'll work. If you see a number anywhere, it is wrong. If you actually see in here, any numbers ఉన్నాయి, any numbers wrong. So it is obviously working, but only it will work for 90% of the time. 10% you never know. Yeah. Ghattaprabha. Where is Ghattaprabha? Karnataka. Where is Gandhi Sagar? Madhya Pradesh only. Indira Sagar? Madhya Pradesh. Maithon? It is in Jharkhand. The question is asking, not correct. Only 3 pairs. What kind of question is this? Indian geography. In Japan, anything that is related to world mapping and Indian geography is very factual. There's no elimination at all. Everything is factual only. Okay. With reference to the water on planet Earth, consider the following. The amount of water in the rivers and lakes is more than that of groundwater. The amount of water in polar ice caps and glaciers is more than that of groundwater. For this, you need knowledge. What is the chronology of ice water? I mean, fresh water. Ice caps and glaciers. Then soil moisture. Next. Atmosphere. Then streams and rivers. And lastly, you'll have biosphere. This is the knowledge you should have. Okay. Based on this, let us answer. The amount of water in the rivers and lakes is more than that of groundwater. No. What is it? Groundwater is more. So first statement is wrong. The amount of water in polar ice caps and glaciers is more than that of groundwater. True. Second statement is right. Elimination ever on that. Only 2 is the answer. I've seen many elimination technique videos. Yeah. All these only try to misguide you. This video is only to tell you guys that do not be misguided by those videos, because those videos are only made for views. Any views ante anni views kosam chestaru. But no one is talking about reality. Many people or many students get influenced by this and they fail in the exam. And then they say that the elimination techniques are not working, because elimination techniques were never the base. UPSC elimination techniques it will give you a charter. Sorry, take this elimination techniques and write the answer. Why not? Because see, elimination techniques can be used, but what the environment is saying that elimination techniques are very important. They are not very important. Knowledge is very important. Knowledge, common sense important. దాని తర్వాత వస్తాయి elimination techniques. I'm not saying that elimination techniques are not useful. They are useful. When it comes to very extreme statements, it is very useful. But majority of the time in geography, you can see any questions answer చేస్తున్నాను. You can see everything. Everything is being solved based on knowledge only. The amount of elimination techniques that I'm using is very less. Yeah. Adriatic Sea, Black Sea, Caspian Sea, and Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea. In seas, నాకు కూడా తెలియదు. Yeah. So I know that Black Sea is there. Black Sea, I know the mnemonic. What is the mnemonic for Black Sea? Tea burger. Tea burger. Turkey, Bulgaria, Ukraine, Russia, Germany, Georgia. It's not Germany. Georgia and Romania. Georgia. Huh? So if you see here, what is it given? Croatia. So 2 is wrong. 2 the same. I didn't have to know all. I only had to know 1. But I had to know. Knowledge. Okay. So B. Which of the following is the best example of repeated falls in sea level giving rise to present day extensive marshal? Here, I've told many people that UPSC is very good at giving hints. But in order to observe that hint, you have to be very aware. If you are not aware, you'll not be able to observe that hint. And many times when you're in the exam, there is a lot of pressure. Because of the pressure, you'll not be noticing anything. This is a very good example of that hint. Can you guess what the hint is? How?
Repeated falls means simultaneous and
No. The hinted is in the options only. What is Bitarkanika? What is Bitarkanika? It's a mangrove. What is Marakanam? It is a salt pan. What is Naupada? It is a swamp. It is saying Ivani EV. But what is it not giving? Run of Kutch. What is Run of Kutch? It is marshland. This is the hint that UPSC gave and the clear continued. But would you be able to observe this in the exam? No. It is very hard for you to observe this. Why? Pressure. So always know that UPSC will give hints and always know that UPSC wants to pass you in the exam. Okay, a positive mindset tellin. UPSC ఇప్పుడు ఎలా ఇస్తుంది పేపర్ అరే 2023 నాకు కష్టం వచ్చింది ఇప్పుడు ఎలా వస్తుంది డోంట్ UPSC is obviously trying to make you pass. Okay, so use this. So answer is D, Run of Kutch. Here again, if you see here, I told you that if there is any factual statement, what will happen? If factual statements are given, all 3 are not right. But this is the perfect example that's saying that elimination tricks will not work. Belt of ancient rock from Brazil coast matches with those from Western Africa. This is true. The golden deposits of Ghana are derived from Brazil plateau when 2 continents lay side by side. True. Gondwana system of sediments from India is known to have its counterparts in 6 different landmasses of the southern hemisphere. This is also true. Here you cannot use any trick. Even if you use a trick, you will get a wrong answer. Because if you use the number trick, if you put this wrong, what will happen? Wrong answer. But here answer is all 3. All 3 are right. In the context of effect of water on rocks, chalk is known as very permeable rock, where clay is known as quite impermeable or least permeable rock. Chalk is porous and hence can absorb water. True. Can absorb water. Clay is not at all porous. What did he give here? Clay is known as quite impermeable or least permeable rock. But hint. He gave you the hint that clay is least permeable, meaning that this is an extreme statement. Clay is little porous. It's not porous on a yellow. So obviously this statement is wrong. Second statement is right. First statement is right. Answer is your C only. See where only one of them is right, and that explains. Yeah. Rainfall is one of the reasons for weathering of rocks. One of the reasons. Rainwater contains carbon dioxide in solution. Rainwater contains atmospheric oxygen. Very factual statements. Yeah. All of them are very generic. Ekkada extreme statement iledu. Ekkada extreme facts iledu. So all of them are right. Right? A is the answer. In a seismograph, P waves and S waves are recorded earlier than S waves. That's why they are called primary, because they come first. Secondary waves come second. So obviously, first one is right. In P waves, the individual particles vibrate to and fro in the direction, whereas in S waves, they vibrate down the right angle. What does that mean? Hmm? Hmm. P waves is parallel, S waves is perpendicular. Meaning that if there is any particle that is moving like this in P wave, they are moving sideways, whereas in S wave they are moving like this. So that is why S waves have shear, and as they have shear, they only move through solids. P waves move through solid, liquid, and gas. Why? Because they do not have shear. Shear and pulling force less than. That is why they move through liquid, solid, and gas, whereas S moves only through solids. 2 is also right. Purely knowledge. Both 1 and 2. L. They call it Rayleigh waves. Rayleigh waves or love waves. Yeah, surface waves. Surface they are very destructible. Okay. In case of which one of the following biogeochemical cycles, the weathering of rocks is main source of release of nutrients to enter the cycle. Weathering of rocks: carbon rock, nitrogen rock, sulfur rock, phosphorus rock. Hint adi. This is the favorite question of UPSC. Huh? All the 3 questions based on 21st June only. 21st June, 21st June, 21st June. Okay. On 21st June, which one of the following latitudes experiences sunlight more than 12 hours? As it is tilted towards the northern hemisphere, what are exposed? Cancer and Arctic Circle. D. In the northern hemisphere, the longest day of the year normally occurs in second half. On the 21st June, the sun does not set below Arctic Circle. It's very important for UPSC to understand someone for this. Next winter means yeah. I told you about the 4-box theory. What happens if 4 boxes are given? Interchanged. Let us look. Wassages. It is a block mountain or fold mountain? Block. Alps. Is it block or fold? Alpine, fold mountain. Andes, fold mountain. Sir, what is the answer? We've looked at all of the 4-box questions. How many? Almost we've looked at 4 questions. In all 4 questions, it was only answer B only 2. Yeah? Fold mountains ki block mountains ka. Fold mountains are due to convergence. Block mountains are due to divergence. Right? Fold mountains are when both the plates converge, they form a fold mountain. When the boundaries or the plates diverge, they form block mountains. What are the block mountains in India? Vindhya, Satpura. Aravallis is what is Aravalli? Oh, fold mountain, which is old fold mountain. Okay. This again very factual. What did I tell? Which part of this? Indian geography. Indian geography is always factual. Amarkantak hills are the confluence of Vindhya range and Sahyadri range. Bilgirangan hills constitute easternmost part of Satpura range. Seshachalam hills constitute the southernmost part of Western Ghats. Answer is none. There's no way a person could know this. A geography teacher, because how would they know? Amarkantak hills are at the confluence of Vindhya and Sahyadri range. Biligirangan hills constitute the easternmost part of Satpura range. It is very hard for you to. So what will you do? You leave these kind of questions. Do not answer. Ego means oddu. Okay? Do not take it to ego. Again, this is also very factual question. Siachen Glacier. Many people think that it is Akshay, but it is Nubra Valley. Why would we search Siachen Glacier until unless there is a conflict? Yeah. So see, Namchen Barwa, Nanda Devi, Nokrek. Nokrek is in Meghalaya. So obviously it's not in Sikkim Himalayas. 3 is wrong. Namchen Barwa is in Arunachal Pradesh. So it's not in Garhwal Himalayas. Nanda Devi is in Kumano Himalayas. So 2 is right, 1 and 3 are wrong. The answer is we only 2. Again a factual question. Confirm the pattern we go. Do you want to rely more on elimination when it comes to geography? Don't rely on elimination when it comes to geography. I just chepta. Eliminations may rely on atla. Don't rely on elimination when it comes to geography. Because in geography they'll ask you 10 to 12 questions. Out of the 10 to 12 questions, 3 will be mapping. How many are left? 9. Out of that 9, 1 or 2 will be Indian geography. So how many are 5? So out of those 7 you can answer. You can use knowledge or elimination. Otherwise 90% of the time it will not work. Okay. Tomorrow I'll be discussing environment. I think in environment there are some tricks. Many tricks in environment. Let's look at the tricks tomorrow. Okay. Scientific studies suggest that a shift is taking place in Earth's rotation axis. Scientific studies suggest. Okay. Solar flares and associated coronal mass ejections bombarded the Earth's outermost atmosphere with tremendous amount of energy. Zoom jala. Oh, sorry. Oh. Can we see that? Yeah. As the Earth's polar ice melts, the water tends to move towards the equator. If you look at this here as asking about explanation, how are they explaining each other? First one is right. Okay, first one right or not. He did not say that first one is wrong. First one is right. Okay. Studies suggest that a shift is taking place in Earth's rotation axis because solar flares and associated coronal mass ejections bombarded the Earth's outermost atmosphere with tremendous amount of energy. Explaining. But is it explaining this? Is it because of polar ice melting that the Earth is moving out of the rotational axis? No. So it's not explained. But is it right? It is right. What is the answer then? B. Here. If you want, you can eliminate the statement with number. Yeah. The Earth's magnetic field has reversed every few hundred years, few 100,000 years. Okay, few hundred. Few is a positive statement. It's not extreme. So 1 is right. When Earth was created more than 4,000 million years ago, 54% oxygen and no carbon dioxide. Asal plants ochinde 3.8 billion years ago. Then how will oxygen be there in 4 million years ago? 4,000. Obviously, second statement is wrong. When living organisms originated, they modified the early atmosphere of the Earth. Yes. Blue-green algae came, and that is where oxygen flooded into the atmosphere. So obviously they changed. Again, knowledge. మీ ఎంత చూసిన తర్వాత కూడా మళ్ళీ అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి ఎలిమినేషన్ ట్రిక్స్ పెడితే తప్పు నాది కాదు. Okay. Which of the following is or are correct in reference to the isothermal maps in the month of January? Isotherms deviate to the north over the ocean and south over the continent. Why? In January. What is there in January? Yeah. Jan. What is the temperature that is present in January? Is it hot or is it cold? Cold. Okay. So cold temperature is present. What is the specific heat of land? Is it greater than water?
No, sir.
No. So land heats and cools fast. So as it is cold temperature, land is cool. But ocean is still warm. As the specificity is very high. Now what is isotherm? Isotherm is an imaginary line which connects all the same temperatures. So in the isotherms, in the north, it goes towards warm temperature, and whenever it moves to the continent, it bends downwards because cool. Ekkadaithe hot untundo it will rise. Ekkadaithe cool untundo it will dip down. So what is it saying? Isotherms deviate north over the ocean. Why are they deviating north over the ocean? Because ocean is warm. And deviating south over the continent. Why? Because they are cool. Presence of cold ocean currents, Gulf Stream and North Atlantic drift make the North Atlantic Ocean colder and isotherms bend towards the north. Is it? What is the wrong here? What is the mistake here? Gulf Stream is a warm current. Here they gave it cold ocean current. So obviously this statement is wrong. In order to get this statement wrong, you have to observe. Okay. So if observance is important. So second statement is wrong, first statement is right. So answer is A1 only. In January, the northern hemisphere, the isotherm bends towards equator while crossing the landmass and polewards while crossing the oceans. Same statement, he gave it in that way. Same statement. As north bend outunnante polewards annadu, south bend outunnante equator annadu. Ante inkem change cheyaladu. The statement is right because in January the air over ocean is warmer than over the landmass in the northern hemisphere. Explaining. Same question he changed. Nothing else. The atmosphere is heated by incoming solar radiation than by terrestrial radiation. Is it? No, because incoming solar radiation is short. Terrestrial radiation is wrong, which actually takes. So first statement is wrong. Carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are good absorbers of long wave radiation. True. So first is wrong, second is right. Okay. C, so D. Anta knowledge. ఇంకేం లేదు ఇక్కడ. ఇవన్నీ ఏంటి మళ్ళీ? These are all based on 2021 to 2025 only. I picked some questions from 2018 to 2020, but there are only some questions. But if you actually look at the pattern, the main pattern is from 2021 to 2025, where the elimination techniques are not working at all. Okay? Yeah. The temperature contrast between continent and ocean is greater during summer than in winter because specific heat of water is more than that of land surface. Second statement is right, but the temperature contrast, is it great during summer or winter? Just now we talked. In winter, the land cools faster and the ocean still stay warmer. So the temperature contrast is more in winter. Summer lenti, the ocean is warm, land is also warm. The temperature contrast is small. Wrong. Second statement is right. Answer is D. High clouds primarily reflect solar radiation and cool the surface of the earth. Is it? What are the high clouds? Cirrus. Cirrus clouds. Cirrus clouds are mainly used for trapping heat. Right? They trap heat. Whereas the cumulus clouds, they reflect heat. They are the low clouds. Low clouds have high absorption of infrared radiation emanating from the Earth's surface and thus cause warming effect. No, they are interchanged. Answer is D. Then glitch out. Is there any mosquito here? Yeah, Coriolis force. A question again then got it increases with wind velocity. And as the wind velocity is high, Coriolis force is also high. It is maximum at the poles and is absent at the equator. True. Answer is both 1 and 2. ఏం లేదు ఇక్కడ. ఇండియా మ్యాపింగ్ ఏది? Where is it? Okay. The Barren Islands is a volcano which is active and located in Indian territory. It's saying that Barren Island is active volcano. Okay. Barren Island lies 140 kilometers east of Great Nicobar. ఎలా తెలుస్తుంది? నేను కొల్చాం? Obviously not. The last time Barren Island volcano erupted was in 1991 and it has remained inactive since then. If you look at this, these both are contradictory. ఇక్కడ ఏమంటుంది? It is saying here active. What is it saying here? Inactive. Yeah. ఇదేంటి ఇక్కడ పోయింది? Okay. Again, this is a very factual statement. Which question is this? ఏమన్నా రాస్తున్నా పైన? Indian mapping. All the Indian mapping questions are what? Actual. At one place in India, if you stand on the seashore and watch the sea, you will find the sea water recede from the shoreline a few kilometers and come back to the shore twice a day, and you can actually walk on the sea floor when the water recedes. And this unique phenomena is seen at Chandipur. But you have to know that it is there in Chandipur. In Chandipur, Kellam కూడా వెళ్ళి నాకు ఎలా వస్తుంది? So గుర్తుంచుకోండి. This is another reason why I love UPSC. Yeah? It says which one of the following statements best describes polar code? Okay. నేను చెప్పా hint ఇస్తా UPSC అని. Yeah? Look at all the statements. It is the agreement of countries. It is the set of norms. It is the trade security and agreement. Only one option says code. Ante. Ade answer. Only one option says code, and that is the answer. That is the hint given by UPSC. He's saying that I'm asking for code. I'm asking for a code. Look for that code. If you do not look for that code, what will happen? You'll mark C, B, or D. If you look for the code, you'll mark A. Answer is A here. Cloud bursts. In the context of which of the following do scientists suggest use of cirrus cloud thinning? We just talked about cirrus clouds. What do cirrus clouds do? Trap heat. Okay, let us look at the options. What is it saying? Cirrus cloud thinning, meaning you have to thin the cirrus cloud, creating artificial rains. Cirrus clouds do not form rains, obviously. Reducing the frequency of intensity of tropical cyclones. Cirrus clouds do not have anything to do with cyclones. Reducing adverse effects of solar winds on Earth. They have nothing to do with solar winds, but they have something to do with global warming. Why? Because they trap heat. If you thin the clouds, all the heat will escape. That's why D. Again, knowledge based. Why are dewdrops not formed on a cloudy night? Cloud absorbs the radiation released from Earth's surface. What is a dewdrop? Dewdrop ki frost ki difference enti? Dewdrop and frost. What is the dewdrop and what is the frost? Hailstone kada. Yeah, frost is something that is below 0 degrees. 0 degrees below ante frost. 0 degrees above ante dewdrop. Okay, this is in water format, and this is formed in the form of ice. That is the only difference between dew point and frost. Dew point ante enti? At which the temperature is just above 0 degrees. Now dewdrop enduku form out learner. Clouds absorb all of the radiation released from the Earth's surface. What will happen if clouds absorb all of the radiation? Kin the surface cool untadi, so dewdrops will form. This is not wrong. Clouds reflect back Earth's radiation. Yes. As the clouds reflect back the radiation, it is very hot. That is why dewdrops are not forming. Again, everything based on knowledge. ఎక్కడ నేను ట్రిక్స్ యూజ్ చేయట్లేదు. వి బేర్లీ యూజ్ ట్రిక్స్. ఇండియన్ ఓషన్ డైపోల్, ఐఓడి ఇంకా దగ్గరకు వచ్చాము ఐ గెస్. నెక్స్ట్ ఒకటే ఉంది ఇంకా. ఓకే, we just have one more slide. Okay, after this we'll end, don't worry. Yeah, with reference to Indian Ocean dipole, IOD phenomena is characterized by difference in sea temperature, sea surface temperature between tropical West Indian Ocean and tropical East Pacific Ocean. Is it? What is wrong here? Indian Ocean dipole అని ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చాడు. He gave that it is Indian Ocean dipole. ఇక్కడ ఏమి ఇచ్చాడు? Pacific Ocean. So obviously first statement is wrong because it is Western Indian Ocean and Eastern Indian Ocean. And Indian Ocean phenomena, IOD phenomena can influence an El Nino's impact on the monsoon. Can you guys tell how IOD affects El Nino and La Nina? What is IOD? What is IOD? Indian Ocean dipole, where Western Indian Ocean and Eastern Indian Ocean, there is temperature difference. Just like how trade winds are there, just like how trade winds transfer water, just like that Indian Ocean dipole also transfers water. Eastern is Australia and Indonesia, and West Indian Ocean is India. If warm water is going from west to east, then there is more rainfall here. If warm water is not going, then there is more rainfall in India. That is nothing but Indian Ocean dipole. ఎప్పుడైతే ఇండియాలో పాజిటివ్గా ఉంటుందో, whenever the IOD is positive, then rainfall is high in India. Whenever the IOD is negative, the rainfall is high in Australia and Indonesia. Okay, so that is what saying IOD phenomena influences El Nino's impact on the monsoon. What is El Nino? El Nino is where there's no ocean. There's no rainfall in India. But if it is positive ocean dipole, there's rainfall. So it is countering the impact of El Nino. No? Who is right? This is crops. Crops has been recently brought in. Previously, UPSC did not use crops. It started using crops since 2020. Dan Mundra, it did not add agriculture at all. Okay. India is the largest producer of and exporter of turmeric in India. More than 30 varieties of turmeric are grown in India. Maharashtra, Telangana, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu are major turmeric producing states. We think that there is an elimination technique, but there is no elimination technique. All of the three statements are right. Yeah. Groundnut, horse gram, and soybean. How many of the above belong to the pea family? What is the characteristic of pea family? Leguminous, okay. And the main characteristic is that they are formed in pod. Okay, pod and TNT. For example, if you've seen, I'll show you here. So, soybean, horse gram, and what are they? Soybean pod. Horse gram pod. All these are pods. So what are they? They belong to what? They belong to the pea family. Right? Here. Okay. Which one of the following countries are well known for two largest cocoa producing countries in the world? It is a current affairs. It was based on news in 2024, I guess, 2024 or 2023. Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana, they became highest producing cocoa producers, nearly 5 million ton. So that is why they asked the question. So again, this is based on news. There's no way you can actually know. Among the following crops, which are the most important anthropogenic sources of methane and nitrous oxide? Which one could it be? Methane and nitrous oxide. Rice, obviously. They're all water intensive crops, but they are not all methane producing. Only rice is methane producing. So yeah. Lastly, we have this systemic rice intensification. I don't know anything about systemic rice intensification. Okay, but here you can see reduced seed requirement, reduced methane production, and reduced electricity consumption. All of these are what? Positive statements. Anything that is positive is true. Here, UPSC still gives hints. Where is the hint in this particular question? What is the hint? UPSC hint ekkada ichindi? Tea producing states. Adi hint? Adi question kada? Eastern states? Not necessarily. Kerala is west kada. Generally, where is tea grown? Tea is grown on all hills. There is hills in Andhra Pradesh. There is hills in Kerala. There is hills in Himachal Pradesh. There is hills in Tripura. So generally, they are grown in everywhere. So answer is all 4 states. This is how you need to look. That ends this class. I hope you guys have understood all about how geography works in UPSC. Right? Geography like elimination techniques you shouldn't leave. There are not many elimination techniques that you can use in geography, but you can use knowledge. Yeah. Isobar. I'll explain tomorrow isobar. Okay, na? My throat is a little paining. Okay. I'll explain tomorrow isobars. Tomorrow I'll be talking about environment also.
Same time.
Yeah, 5:30. Actually, Roju Madhu sir but otherwise it would have been at 5:30. Class manchiga 7:30 Yeah, every day it's at 5:30. Okay. Thank you guys.